feel like maybe I need some guidance or something like that, and how do you go ahead with it? Like, you might be like, you might not self-doubt you, but you feel like what might be the next step. Some kind of anticipation might be required. You feel like some experienced guy might be like telling you what should be the next step or something
I
like
get
that.
what you're asking. Yeah. So as a student, there are a lot of programs that you get into. That is startup leadership program. If you can browse in your system, you will get a lot of ideas about it. There is a startup leadership program that has produced a lot of good founders. Okay, this startup leadership program exists in Chennai, Bangalore, California, wherever it is. So if you go to the program, they will incubate your idea. Guys, how many of you know there is a SSN incubation center in your college?
Yeah, I think most of us are aware.
Yeah, good. So there are a lot of incubators, just like what we have in SSN. There are incubators, accelerators. Accelerator is nothing but, if you have a already established business, they will provide you ideas to go further. Whereas in incubators, there will be mentors who will support your business, who will get you investors in long run if you have a very good idea and a minimum viable product. So thing is, you can go for startup leadership program or incubation center, and then at a later stage you can go for accelerator. So that's how you can hone your entrepreneurial skills, right? So I know you will have a lot of questions: how to start a team, how to go for pricing, how to go for marketing, and so on. So that's one aspect, right? If you have a product and you have a service, you don't know how to price it, then it's a big problem. You need to know what customers can buy. You need to have an emotional connect with customers. That's a very important thing in marketing area, right? Any other questions?
Sir, I have a question.
Yes.
So how do you differentiate what is a good idea and a bad idea when you're going to start a startup? Like, you have a lot of ideas, right, coming to your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you
Yeah,
differentiate them?
yeah, I would again go back to my concept, right? You need to find the point of intersection. That's a very important thing. You need to think about your skills. If you really have a skill or not, that's a major thing. If you are passionate about the market demand. So out of three, I would still say the market demand is where the success lies. You need all the three, but the market demand is where you need to concentrate more. You need to take a lot of surveys. If you go to LinkedIn, if you are a regular user of LinkedIn, you will get a lot of messages asking for surveys from MBA graduates. They do a lot of surveys in every topic possible just to come up with one just idea, right? So you need to do a lot of surveys. You can start from your college, you can start with your friends, and then go for a professional platform like LinkedIn and see if you have a good future in the idea that you are choosing. Uh, that's about good idea. Bad idea is something that doesn't come well in minimum viable product itself. So if it doesn't evolve, if it doesn't give the results to customers, the first paying customer, then you need to start thinking about your idea itself. If the customer is not satisfied, then whatever you are going to produce is going to be in vain, right? So that's a bad idea. So bad ideas can easily be identified, whereas it takes a lot of time to identify a good idea. You need to do a lot of market research, especially in the area that you are going to choose, right?
Thank you.
Guys, it's very simple. If you're passionate about sports, then go for sports goodies, go for manufacturing goodies that doesn't exist in the market. If you are good at the arts, right, you can go for something in arts related area. If you're good in training, education, then you go and go for training. There are a lot of steps happening. If you are good at traveling, if you are good at food industry, then go for a hotel with some innovative ideas, whatever. Yeah.
Madhulika, I have a question. Like, when you start the startup, like, is it necessary to register it immediately, or like after becoming successful, can we register with the government?
Yeah, very good question. Thing is, when you go for B2B sector, it's very important to register your startup. Okay, I didn't register in the early stages, but that is when I came to know that I need to register when I went for B2B marketing. So when you go to the companies, you want to have a partnership with them, they will ask you for your registration number, GSTIN these days. So that's very important. So maybe, until you develop your first viable product, then you can go for registration. But registration is a very mandatory thing. Sometimes it's illegal to have a unregistered business, especially in few areas.
Okay.
You need to register your startup at least after 6 months or 1 year after you starting it.
Okay,
There are two ways to do it, right? There are LLPs, there are private limited companies. LLP means limited liability partnership. It has its own advantages and disadvantages. If you want to go for a fully fledged company, then you need to go for private limited company. The registration process again differs for both of the sectors. LLP is completely different and easier, whereas in private limited company, you need to have a lot of other aspects as well.
okay, thank you.
And then
Students,
after
any other questions?
yeah. Yes, Arun, go ahead.
Students, do you have any other questions to be asked?
Yep, I have another question regard as you brought up the LLP and private limited. Like people say,
Mhm.
like investors prefer the private limiter one for investment, and like LLP as it's very new and it's keep on modifying. Like which one? Like usually people say it's private limited. What is your thought on that?
Yeah, that's a fact actually. Private limited company has the ability to get expanded over time, over the places. So that's a fact. You told all the right words. That's a fact actually. But thing is, you can actually move from LLP to private limited company after some time. So it's there. If you can research about it, it's possible.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Yeah. All right, guys. Nice talking to you all. It's an interactive session, I think. Over to you, Arun.